He's such a tourist.
What show are you going to?
Garrison Keillor tonight,
at
the State Theater.
Oh yeah, my mom's was there.
It's like, I bought the tickets Friday and they haven't left my pockets. I did change shirts. No, we don't really know what to expect. Yesterday was his season premiere of Prairie Home Companion in Minnesota, so we know he's at least warmed up.
Right, right. Practicing the new lines.
I'd be thankful if he brought a musician with him and maybe a sound effects person or two, just to add to the storyline. But don't know what to expect.
That's a great place to go.
It is. It is.
We go 3-4 times a year.
Pardon me?
We go 3-4 times a year.
We do too. We do too.
It's
just a matter of choosing what we want to go see.
Yeah, it's fun.
That's okay. I was gonna. I highlighted all the time. I didn't see right here.
We're getting near the cliff on. No. Whoa.
So one of the things I tell people is red wine grapes, as a rule, need a little longer growing season, and they need a little hotter temperatures, and so you can grow those, but closer to the lake. And we don't grow any of those there. And then somebody places a red cluster on the vine to make a liar out of them. So, look, actually, this is from the original planting 28 years ago. We tried to grow reds here. This happens to be from a rogue vine. This is a Baco Noir. A nice variety, actually. It's a little unusual, a little interesting variety. In our Ithaca Red, our table red, used to be made from this variety. Obviously, a very sturdy vine in here, and we should probably clone it. Make a lot of money. But anyways, normally you won't find any reds in here. And what I have here is the Seyval that I was talking about. A lot of different ways in which you can tell whether wine grapes are ready to be picked. Before the fence, you would just look to see which ones the deer were in. They only like ripe grapes. And we would be on the deck with binoculars and enjoying wine, and the deer in the Seyval, quick, put your wine down, we got to pick. And literally you would brick them then with a fancy instrument, which you don't need if you have deer, and it would say 18 bricks, these are ready to pick. So that's really how it happened. And I stopped in this particular spot because before this fence was up, this was a real thoroughfare. I mean, the deer went right through here. There's a little pond there, and a nice little hollow there, and a little swampy area up by that little knob of pines. And this was just a highway through here, really. And they would take up to 15%. So if you multiply 15% times a record crop like we had a year ago, 44,000 pounds, it's a big number. They got a lot of our fruit. So we put this fence up, and it was very well worth it. It's a hard fence. No deer have been in this fence ever since we put it up. It's been about 7 years.
Pretty high.
The electric fence, on the other hand, up there is worthless. I'd send it home with you guys if you want one. It doesn't do anything. The deer jump right straight through. The wires are that thin, and the deer their front legs look like a line. They just go right through. So we're going to put a hard fence up there soon. So Seyval. The second way, if you don't have deer or you have a very effective fence, is to look at these things, and even though it's a green grape, you can see there's a little brown tinge to them where they're ripening in the sun. These are really sweet. These are really ready to go. You can go ahead and try them. Again, they're seeded. Pass them around, and you're fine. Very important variety here at 6 Mile Creek. Lovely, somewhere between a Sauv Blanc and a Pinot Grigio. It fits a niche somewhere in the middle. Nice, dry, crisp wine. It's good food wine, but it's good to sip as well. I'd pair it with any whitefish, herb chicken, lovely, under $10. The other reason that Seyval is really important here is we distill with it. So we're now a bonded distillery, and we get such nice yields with this variety, 6 tons per acre, that we grow a little bit more now than we can sell as wine. So I split the batch, Half of it is bulk. It gets bottled as Seyval Blanc. The other half is in a tank, and I draw down on that tank and distill when I need spirits. So if you triple distill it, it makes a mighty smooth vodka, and I use a vodka base for things like limoncello, orangello. It has been used in our gin, so it's really versatile. Here we have maybe the most photogenic cluster at 6 Mile Creek. These are Vidal. Sometimes they'll grow like this, just big, long, droopy clusters. It's a shouldered variety, as is the Seyval, has this little shoulder on the sides. And late ripening though. Sometimes it's a stretch to ripen these grapes here. These are very sour, so I wouldn't recommend tasting them. Plus, actually, I'm not going to let you taste them. These were sprayed about a week ago. The rest of these are safe, but because these have to hang so long, there's a chance in the damp, cool fall that they could develop botrytis and some other rots that we don't want. So we're still well within the safe last spray date for those, and they need it.
What if you're going to get a frost? Do you pick them real quick, or do you let the frost happen and then pick them?
Really good question. There's a lot of components to ripening in grapes. There's a physiological component, and then there's just sort of more of a physical component of heat and light and evaporation and things like that. Physiological ripening comes first, but you have to have green leaves for that. So if we get a hard frost or freeze and the leaves are frozen and brown and they drop, like all the oak leaves and everything else that's deciduous around here, you're done. There's no more physiological ripening. You can still get some sort of physical things like evaporation and shriveling and other sorts of things that can go on that can help you. But the sort of conversion, microbiological conversion of starches to sugars and some other things that go on there, that can't happen. So we will pick, we will hasten picketing basket. We'll hasten our picking schedule if things are frozen sufficiently so that the canopy, the leaves have hit the ground. Yeah, and it's happened. Other years we find ourselves picking in the snow in October. Not all that fun really, but we do it. So do what you have to here in a sort of a cold climate site. When we go around the back side there, we're going to be going by some of our oldest vines. They would be the vignoles, big, old, gnarly vines. They're 28 years old. That's young for grapes. Grapes can easily live to be 100. And, you know, some growers, especially out west in California, make quite a virtue of old vine. You see it on the labels. Old vine, Zinfandel, ancient vine, Vedra. Love old vine. And they're really good. What's really interesting is there's no legal definition in the U.S. for vine aging. None at all. I could put old vine or ancient vine vignoles and it'd be right here. Those are ancient to us. And totally within the law to do that. So it's really interesting when you look at jargon. There's a lot of it surrounding the wine industry. And I'll throw one more out there and then we'll drive on around. Reserve. You have a Chianti Reserva means very specific things in Italy. It has all sorts of things to do with minimum oak barrel aging, yields per hectare, and all sorts of things. In the U.S., again, no legal definition whatsoever. You can throw that reserve term in there. And my Bellissimo, the most inexpensive sweet red, can be a reserve Bellissimo if I want it. Put that label on there, get federal approval, and they'll do it. Because there's no definition, so it's very interesting. Some people ask then, well, why? What is it then? People still try and follow the sort of, not the letter of the law, but at least the sort of feeling of the law in the U.S. We have two reserve labels, a reserve Riesling and a reserve Chardonnay. And there is something special about it.
Yeah, I mean, I like your reserve Riesling.
We work really hard at it, but there's no definition to guide us. But people have the feeling that it's something special about it. We try and stick to that, but it's interesting to know.
Okay, $5 per bottle.
All right, we'll go on around, and you'll see that the vignoles is being picked. It's being picked because botrytis rot is getting into that group of plants. It's very susceptible to it. Botrytis, or noble rot, as the French used to call it, is a good thing up to about 5 or 10%. When the whole cluster is affected, not so good. So we're picking.